With Persona 3 Reload being officially announced yesterday, we've been getting even more confirmation on content that is being cut from interviews that Ryota Niitsuma and Kazuhisa Wada have been having, like the one from IGN we talked about in the video from yesterday where they said, so first, I'd like to mention that since the basic concept of the Persona 3 remake was to remake Persona 3, we don't have the FES and portable contents included. We wanted to really genuinely work on recreating the Persona 3 experience. This confirming that Persona 3 Reload is a remake of Persona 3, not FES or portable, with them then continuing in that same interview to say, so we can't really go into the details at this point yet, but we have remade basically everything from scratch as for Persona 3 the original version. We have newly recorded voices, we have new scenes and events, we also have both new and arranged music. The last quote telling us that while content is being cut like the story from FES, we will be getting new scenes entirely and even some new events, but still no the answer or female MC, which is what so many people have wanted from this remake. And now the absence of the female MC and content from FES being cut has now been confirmed even more from an interview they've had with Famitsu. This interview confirms that content has been cut, but also confirms my suspicions from the last video of certain quality of life content and social links remaining. Now, when asked his stance on the remake, Wada responded with, quote, "The basic premise is that we did not change the scenario or characters that form the basis of Persona 3. On top of that, we want players to enjoy the game with graphics and operability that are comparable to Persona 5 and Persona 5 Royal, the latest numbered titles in the game. We thought this was the ideal form for this remake, and we have maintained this stance from the beginning of development." Later in that same interview, they were asked, quote, "Speaking of the original version of Persona 3, there was also Persona 3 FES, which was based on the original version with various additions and changes, and Persona 3 Portable, in which you can choose a female protagonist. How will Persona 3 Reload be positioned this time around?" And Niitsuma, not wanting to cause any more confusion, stated, "First of all, Persona 3 Reload is a project that started as a remake of the original Persona 3 for the current consoles, so it does not include the later story added in FES or the female protagonist from Portable. However, this does not mean that the elements in the main story added in FES are not included in Reload at all. The remake has a substantial volume, including the side story I mentioned earlier, and an increase in the total number of character voices to one of the highest levels in the series history. The reason for the increase in voices is not limited to the side stories, but we will be introducing this in a follow-up report. So thankfully, certain aspects from FES will remain in the game, and will even be receiving additional content on top of that, so that's a plus. However, I still believe, despite how disliked the answer may be, it shouldn't be removed from the game entirely. This was their chance to make it better and more enjoyable for people that disliked it, and being unable to have that content along with the female protagonist all in one game kind of sucks. But again, I can very well see them adding that as DLC later on, or an entirely different game 2 years down the line. There was one take on Twitter about the whole FEMC situation that annoyed me a bit, and it reads, quote, "If there's no FEMC, then the remake is pointless. Fuck off, such blatant disregard for the majority of the game. Like, did you not like anything else about it?" Continuing, like, "Yeah, I'm a bit disappointed. I think FEMC gets a lot of unnecessary hate, but if you seriously can't play the game without her, I'm convinced your enjoyment of the game was very surface level. Literally no better than people who complain FEMC route is too happy." Now, the reason this take is so bad to me personally is because, yeah, of course people are going to be upset with a core part of their experience being removed from the game. A lot of people connected more with the female route due to the social links available to them, like Akihiko's romance option, along with the general feel of the game with the different dialogue options you'd get when going with her route. If I'm going to be playing a 100-hour JRPG, I'd sure love to make sure I'm connecting the most with the character I'm playing as, and for so many people, the female MC route did that. But that aside, I'm sure the game is going to be amazing and people will still love it. I know I certainly will. But seeing people getting harassed for simply criticizing Atlus for removing content is insanity to me. Anyway, let me know what you all think about everything we know about Persona 3 Remake so far, and make sure to subscribe to stay updated on the game along with other gaming related situations I want to talk about in the future. I should have an actual video screwing around with friends in Dragon Ball Tenkaichi 3 releasing soon, so stay tuned for that as well, and have a wonderful rest of your day.